The deep space research ship Perseverance drifted quietly at the edge of the Milky Way. Captain Jum Kim stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on a large view screen. The stars seemed endless here, far from Earth. "Captain, sensors are picking up something," said Officer Da, her fingers moving quickly across her control panel. "It's big, very big." June leaned forward. "Show me." The screen changed. A massive ship appeared, unlike anything humans had ever built. It shimmered with a strange blue light and moved with impossible grace for its size. "Send a standard greeting message," Jun ordered. His heart beat faster, but his voice stayed calm. This was why they had come so far, to find others among the stars. Dr. Yun Park rushed onto the bridge. Her job was to study alien life, but until now, she had only worked with simple space organisms. "Is it really happening?" she asked, her eyes wide. "First contact." June nodded. "We're about to find out if they're friendly." The massive alien ship stopped near them. For 10 long minutes, nothing happened. Then Officer Da's console lit up. "Captain, they're answering our message. They speak our language." "That's impossible," Dr. Park said. "How could they know?" "Put it on the main screen," Jun ordered. The screen flickered. A face appeared. It looked almost like a cat, but with human-like features. Golden fur covered its face, and its yellow eyes had vertical pupils. When it spoke, they could see sharp teeth. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien said. "I am Ambassador Mrek of the Tajin Empire. We have studied your transmissions for many years." Jun stepped forward. "I am Captain Jum Kim of the Earth research vessel Perseverance *. We come in peace." The alien's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "As do we, Captain. We would be honored if you would visit our ship as our guests. We have much to share." Dr. Park couldn't hide her excitement. "Captain, this is amazing. The scientific knowledge they could share." "Ambassador Mrek," Jum said, "we accept your invitation. I will bring a small team." After the transmission ended, Security Chief Hansung approached the captain. "Sir, I don't like this. It's too easy. How do they speak our language? Why are they so eager to meet us?" June understood Han's worries. "That's why you're coming with us, Han. Keep your eyes open." 2 hours later, June, Dr. Park, Han, and 2 other crew members boarded a shuttle to the Tajin ship. As they flew closer, they could see how truly massive it was, at least 20 times the size of the Perseverance *. "Look at their technology," Dr. Park whispered as they docked. "We're like children compared to them." The airlock opened, and the humans stepped into the alien ship. 3 Tajin waited for them. They stood on 2 legs like humans but were taller, and moved with cat-like grace. Their golden fur shimmered under the lights. Most surprising were their hands. Where humans had fingernails, the Tajin had what looked like metal claws that gleamed silver against their fur. Ambassador Mrek stepped forward. "Welcome aboard the Sundered Sky, flagship of the Tajin Exploration Fleet." "Thank you for your welcome," Jum said. "We're honored to be the first humans to meet your people." As they walked through the ship, Dr. Park couldn't stop staring at everything. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with soft light. Tajin crew members worked at stations that had no buttons or screens. They simply moved their hands through light. "Your ship is amazing," she said. A Tajin warrior passed by them. Unlike the others, this one wore armor that seemed fused to its body. Its metal claws were longer, and a red light pulsed beneath its fur, as if machines lived under its skin. Hansung noticed how Dr. Park stared. "Impressive, isn't it?" he whispered. "But I wonder, why would explorers need such weapons?" Ambassador Mrek led them into a large room with a view of space. "Please sit. We have prepared a meal. Then we will show you wonders beyond your imagination." June smiled and nodded, but felt uneasy. Something about the Tajin's perfect hospitality felt wrong. Still, this was humanity's first alien contact. He would be polite and careful. He did not know that within hours, everything would change. The meal with the Tajin started well. The food looked strange, but tasted better than anything on the Perseverance. Captain Jun tried to relax, but he noticed how Han kept one hand near his hidden weapon. "Tell us about your species," Ambassador Mrek said. "How many worlds have humans settled?" "Just 4, Jun answered honestly. "Earth, Mars, and 2 moons of Jupiter. We're still new to space travel." Dr. Park added eagerly, "But we're learning quickly. Our newest engines." Han coughed loudly, cutting her off. Dr. Park looked confused, then understood. Perhaps they shouldn't share everything. A door slid open. A tall Tajin entered the room. Unlike Ambassador Mrek's simple clothes, this one wore armor with strange symbols. The other Tajin all bowed their heads. "Supreme Commander Call," Mrek said, standing quickly. "We are honored by your presence." Call ignored Mrek and stared at the humans. His yellow eyes seemed colder than the others. The red lights under his fur pulsed faster, and his metal claws looked longer and sharper. "So these are the humans," Call said. His voice was deep and had no warmth. "They look weak." Jun stood and bowed slightly. "Supreme Commander, we thank you for your hospitality." Call walked around the table, studying each human. When he reached Han, he stopped. "This one has a weapon." He smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Bring them." Before the humans could react, more Tajin warriors entered the room. They grabbed the humans roughly. "What is this?" Jun demanded. "We came in peace." Call laughed. "Peace is for the weak. The strong take what they want." The warriors forced the humans down a long hallway and into a large room. It looked like a theater, with rows of seats facing the central area. Many Tajin sat watching. In the center area stood creatures from different alien species. They wore simple clothes and had chains on their arms and legs. Their faces showed fear and hopelessness. "Watch and learn your future," Call said to the humans. He stepped into the central area. The prisoners backed away in terror. Call pointed to one alien that had blue skin and 4 arms. "This one tried to escape yesterday," he announced to the watching Tajin. Without warning, Call's metal claws extended to twice their length. Red energy crackled around them. He moved so fast, the humans could barely see it. One swipe, and the blue alien fell to the floor in pieces. Dr. Park gasped in horror. Jun felt sick. Han's face turned hard as stone. "The Tajin Empire has ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years," Call said, turning to the humans. "We find primitive species like yours, study them, then add their worlds to our empire." "You're conquerors," Jun said, his voice steady despite his fear. "We are the future," Call replied. "Your people will serve us or die. Your choice." He pointed to Dr. Park. "This one has knowledge. Take her to the science division." Then he looked at Jun. "This one is a leader. Question him about Earth's defenses." As warriors grabbed them, Han made his move. He pulled out his hidden weapon and fired at the ceiling. The blast hit a light panel, causing sparks and smoke to fill the room. "Run," Han shouted. In the confusion, he pushed Dr. Park toward Jun. "Get her out of here." Before Jun could react, Han threw something small at his chest. It was a data chip. "Get this to Earth," Han yelled. Then he fired his weapon again, drawing the Tajin's attention as Jun and Dr. Park ran for the door. Warriors with glowing claws surrounded Han. He fought bravely, but there were too many. The last thing Jun saw as the door closed was Han falling under a swarm of Tajin claws. Alarms screamed throughout the ship. Jun pulled Dr. Park down a side hallway. "We need to get to the shuttle," he whispered. "Han just gave his life to give us a chance." Dr. Park was crying, but nodded. "What's on the chip?" "I don't know," Jun said. "But if we don't get it to Earth, our world could end up like that blue alien." They heard running footsteps coming closer as the hunt for the escaped humans began. 3 weeks later, the Perseverance limped back to Earth. The ship was badly damaged. Of its crew of 42, only one remained alive. Captain Jum Kim sat alone on the bridge. His face was thin and his eyes empty. Dr. Park had died 2 days after they escaped the Tejin ship. A warrior's claw had cut her during their escape. The wound turned green and filled with tiny machines that ate her from inside. Jun watched as Earth grew larger on the view screen. He held the data chip Han had given him tightly in his hand. "Captain Kim, this is Earth Defense Station 1. A voice said through the radio. "We've been searching for the Perseverance for weeks. What happened out there?" "We need to talk," Jun replied, his voice rough. "In person. The highest level." 6 hours later, Jun sat in a large room at Earth Defense Headquarters. Around a table sat 12 serious-looking people, the Earth Defense Council. At the head was Commander Do-Young Lee, Earth's top military leader. "Captain Kim," Commander Lee said, "tell us everything." Jun told the story of meeting the Tejin, their betrayal, and Han's sacrifice. When he finished, he placed Han's data chip on the table. Before he died, Officer Han recorded everything he saw on their ship, their weapons, their numbers, their plans. A woman named Soo-Jin Choi, Earth's best intelligence analyst, took the chip and inserted it into a computer. The room's lights dimmed, and a large screen showed images from inside the Tejin ship. "This is worse than we thought," Soo-Jin said as she studied the information. "The Tejin have already sent scout ships to our outer colonies. They'd been watching us for months." She showed more images, massive Tejin warships, warriors with their glowing claws cutting through metal like it was paper, and maps showing Earth's location. "According to this data," Soo-Jin continued, "their main invasion fleet will reach Earth in less than 3 months." The room fell silent. Earth's small fleet of ships was nothing compared to what they had just seen. "How many ships do they have?" Commander Lee asked. "At least 200 warships," Soo-Jin answered, "each one larger than anything we've built. And they're warriors." She showed an image of a Tejin warrior tearing apart a metal door with its cyber claws. "Their bodies are part machine. They're faster and stronger than any human." An older council member stood up, his face pale. "Then we have no chance. Perhaps we should try to surrender, make a deal." "No," Jun interrupted. "You didn't see what I saw. They don't make deals. They conquer or they kill." Commander Lee studied Jun's face. "What do you suggest, Captain?" "We fight," Jun said simply. "We use everything we have. We warn our colonies. We build more ships. We find a way." "Against those claws, those ships," someone asked, "it would be suicide." Commander Lee stood up. "Maybe not. Their technology is better than ours. Their weapons are better. But there's something they don't understand about humans." "What's that?" Soo-Jin asked. "When we're backed into a corner, we become very, very dangerous," Lee answered. "The Tejin fight because they want more power. We'll be fighting for our home, our families, our very existence." Lee walked to a computer and began typing. "I'm starting a new project, effective immediately. Code name, Tiger Heart." "What is it?" Jun asked. "If their tigers have cyber claws, ours will have something better," Lee said. "They'll have a reason to fight." He looked at each person in the room. "The Tejin think they're hunting us. They don't realize they've just awakened every tiger on Earth. And our tigers fight hardest when protecting what they love." For the first time in weeks, Jun felt something other than despair. It wasn't quite hope yet, but it was close. Deep beneath the mountains of what was once called Korea, engineers and scientists worked day and night. 2 months had passed since Captain Jun's return. Only 1 month remained before the Tejin fleet would reach Earth. Taiwan Park stood in his lab, looking at the small device in his hand. It was round, about the size of a coin, with a soft blue light in its center. Taiwan hadn't slept in 3 days, But he couldn't stop now. His sister Yun was dead because of the Taijin. Every minute he wasted could cost more lives. The door opened, and Commander Lee walked in. "Any progress, Dr. Park?" "See for yourself," Ta-1 said, pointing to two soldiers sitting across from each other at a table. Each had a small device like the one in Ta-1's hand attached to the back of their neck. "Watch this." Ta-1 pressed a button, and the blue lights on the devices began to pulse. The two soldiers closed their eyes. On a screen above them, their brain patterns appeared as colored waves. Slowly, the patterns began to match. "Now," Ta-1 said to one soldier, "pick up the cube without using your hands." The soldier kept his hands flat on the table. The second soldier reached out and picked up a small cube. "They can feel each other's thoughts," Ta-1 explained. "They can share their senses, their strength, even move as one." Commander Lee watched in amazement. But will it be enough against the Taijin's cyber claws? "The cyber claws make the Taijin strong," Ta-1 said. "But they also make them part machine. They follow orders without question. They can't think for themselves." He pointed to the soldiers. "Our warriors will fight as one, but think as many. That's something the Taijin can't understand." Commander Lee nodded. "How many of these neural amplifiers can you make before the Taijin arrive?" "Enough for 50 squads," Ta-1 answered. 300 soldiers. 300 against thousands," Lee said quietly. "It will have to be enough." At that moment, Captain Jun entered the lab. He looked different now, stronger, more determined. The empty look in his eyes was gone. "Commander," Jun said, "the first Taijin scout ship has been spotted near Jupiter. It's happening." Lee turned to Ta-1. "We need the first squads ready in 2 days." "They'll be ready," Ta-1 promised. Later that night, Ta-1 worked alone in his lab. As he adjusted a neural amplifier, he felt someone watching him. He turned to see Captain Jun standing in the doorway. "Can't sleep?" Ta-1 asked. "Not much," Jun admitted. "You look like her, you know. Your sister." Ta-1 nodded. He had heard the story of how his sister died many times. "You did everything you could to save her." "It wasn't enough," Jun said, his voice hard. "Nothing will be enough until the Taijin are stopped." He stepped closer. "I want to join the Tiger Heart program." Ta-1 was surprised. "You're a captain. We need you commanding ships, not on the ground." "I need to do this," Jun insisted. "I saw what they can do up close. I know how they think." Ta-1 studied Jun's face and saw the same determination he felt himself. "It won't be easy. The neural link is painful at first. It shows you things about yourself you might not want to see." "I'm not afraid of pain," Jun said. "And I've faced my demons every night since I got back." Ta-1 picked up a neural amplifier. "Then sit down, Captain. You're about to become something new. Not just a soldier. Not just a captain." He placed the device against Jun's neck. "You're going to become part of something bigger." As the device activated, Jun gasped. Images and feelings flooded his mind. His own memories, but also something else, something new. It felt like standing in a room full of people, all speaking at once, yet somehow he could understand each voice perfectly. "Welcome to Tiger Heart," Ta-1 said softly. "Now we show the Taijin what humans can really do." The training room was silent except for the sound of breathing. 6 soldiers stood in a circle, their eyes closed. Each wore a black uniform with a tiger symbol on the shoulder and had a neural amplifier glowing blue at the base of their neck. Squad leader Jin Ho-yoon stood in the center, his mind connected to the others through the neural link. In 3 weeks, these 6 strangers had become closer than family. They shared thoughts, feelings, even dreams. "Begin exercise," a computer voice announced. Without opening their eyes, all 6 soldiers moved as one. They dodged invisible attacks, rolled across the floor, and took fighting positions back to back. When targets appeared on the walls, they pointed their weapons and fired in perfect unison, hitting each target dead center. Behind a glass window, Commander Lee watched with Taiwan Park. "Impressive," Lee said. "But can they beat the Taijin?" Before Taiwan could answer, alarms blared throughout the base. A voice came over the speakers. "All personnel to battle stations. Taijin ships detected approaching Neptune Research Station." Lee's face turned grim. "The outer defense fleet won't get there in time." Jin Ho opened his eyes and looked at the commander through the glass. "Send us," he said. 2 hours later, Jin Ho's squad sat in a small, fast ship racing toward Neptune. Captain Jum Kim piloted the craft. Though he had trained with Tiger Heart, today he would only transport the squad. "We'll reach Neptune in 10 minutes, Jum announced. "The Taijin have already landed. At least 30 warriors." He turned to look at Jin Ho. "Your squad is outnumbered 5-1. Jin Ho nodded. "Numbers don't matter when we fight as one." Through the neural link, he felt his team's feelings, not fear, but a calm readiness. They had trained for this moment. The ship slowed as they approached Neptune's largest research station. Through the windows, they could see 3 Taijin scout ships had landed on the platform. The station's walls were torn open and fires burned inside. "There might still be survivors," Jun said. The station had 50 researchers. Jin Ho stood and checked his weapon. It wasn't as advanced as Taijin technology, but it would have to be enough. "We'll find them." His squad formed a circle and touched hands. Through the neural link, their hearts began to beat as one. Their breathing matched. 6 bodies, 1 mind. "Remember," Jin Ho said, "the Taijin are stronger. Their claws can cut through metal, but they fight alone. We fight together." The ship landed, and the squad moved out. They entered the damaged station without making a sound. Through the link, they could sense each other's position perfectly. They didn't need to speak or signal. Each knew exactly where the others were. They found the first Taijin warriors in what had been the main lab. 3 tall cat-like aliens were using their glowing claws to tear open equipment. Around them lay the bodies of human researchers. Jin Ho felt anger rising in his team. Through the link, he sent a calming thought. Focus on the mission, not revenge. They all understood. Revenge would not save lives. With hand signals, Jin Ho positioned his squad. Then they attacked. The Taijin were fast, but they weren't ready for humans who moved as one. When a Taijin tried to slash at one squad member, another was already there to block. When one human was knocked down, they all felt it and adjusted immediately. The first 3 Taijin fell quickly, but the noise brought more. Soon, Jin Ho's squad was surrounded by 12 warriors, their cyber claws glowing red with energy. "Humans," one Taijin hissed. "You fight well for primitives, but you will die here." Jin Ho felt no fear, only the steady presence of his squad in his mind. "Maybe," he answered, "but not alone." The Taijin attacked from all sides at once. The humans moved as one, back to back in a circle. Where one was weak, another was strong. Where one faltered, another stepped in. For the first time, the mighty Taijin warriors faced something they didn't understand. Humans who fought not as individuals, but as something more. The battle at Neptune Station lasted 3 hours. When it ended, the station was badly damaged, but Jin Ho's squad was still standing. 9 Taijin warriors lay dead. The rest had retreated to their ships and fled. Jin Ho leaned against a wall, catching his breath. His uniform was torn and burned in places. His team had injuries, but they were all alive. Through the neural link, he could feel their mix of pain, pride, and exhaustion. Jin Ho called one of his squad members, a woman named Yuri. "Come here. I found something." Jin Ho followed her voice to what had been a storage room. There on the floor lay a Taijin warrior. Unlike the others, this one was smaller, and its fur was lighter in color. It was alive but badly wounded. "Should we finish it?" Yuri asked, raising her weapon. Jin Ho studied the fallen warrior. Something was different about this one. Its cyber claws were smaller, and the red glow under its fur was weaker. No, Jinho decided. We'll take it back to Earth. The scientists might learn something useful. 6 hours later, the Tajin prisoner lay in a medical room at Earth's main base. Dr. Minji Kang, the head medical officer, examined it carefully. Commander Lee and Jinho watched from behind a glass wall. "What have you learned?" Lee asked through a speaker. "It's male," Minji answered. "Younger than the other warriors we've seen, and his cyber parts are different." She pointed to where she had cleaned a wound on the Tajin's arm. Under the fur, metal and wires mixed with flesh. The cyber parts in the other warriors were cleanly installed. This one's look forced in, almost crude. The Tajin opened its yellow eyes suddenly. It tried to raise its claws, but they were bound to the table. It hissed at Minji. "Kill me and be done with it, human," it growled. Minji didn't back away. "We're not going to kill you. We're treating your wounds." The Tajin looked confused. "Why? I am your enemy." "Because that's what we do," Minji said simply, continuing to clean its wounds. "What's your name?" The Tajin was silent for a long moment. "Raska," it finally said. "I am called Raska. I'm Dr. Kang. Minji Kang." For the next week, Minji spent hours each day with Raska. At first, the Tajin refused to speak much, but slowly, as his wounds healed, he began to talk. One day, Minji was checking the cyber parts in Raska's arm when she noticed something strange. "These parts are connected to your brain," she said, "but they don't just make you stronger. They're controlling you." Raska turned away. "All warriors are controlled. It is necessary." "Necessary for what?" "To keep us loyal. To make us obey without question." For the first time, Raska's voice held emotion, bitter anger. "I was not born a warrior. I was a scientist, like you. But I questioned Supreme Commander Call's orders, so they changed me." Minji was shocked. "They forced you to become a warrior. They put these cyber parts in you against your will." "Most of my people are not free," Raska said quietly. "Only the high commanders make choices. The rest of us serve or die." Later, Minji reported her findings to Commander Lee and Captain Jun. "You're saying the Tajin are slaves to their own leaders?" Jun asked, his face showing surprise. "That's exactly what I'm saying," Minji answered. "The cyber parts that make them strong also control them. Raska says many Tajin would fight against their leaders if they could." Commander Lee paced the room, thinking, "This changes everything. We've been preparing to fight an enemy that wants to destroy us. But what if many of them are prisoners, like Raska? Could we find a way to break the control?" Jun asked. "Turn their own warriors against them?" Minji nodded slowly. "With Raska's help we might, but it would be risky." "We don't have a choice," Lee said. "The main Tajin fleet will reach Earth in 2 weeks. We need every advantage we can get." He looked at Minji. "Work with Raska. Find a way to break their control." A tiny spark of hope lit in Jun's eyes. "Maybe we don't have to destroy the Tajin after all. Maybe we can free them instead." The day everyone feared finally arrived. The main Tajin fleet entered Earth's solar system. 200 massive warships moving toward Earth like hungry predators. Earth's defense fleet waited near Mars. 60 human ships against 200 Tajin ships. The odds were bad, but they had to try. On the bridge of Earth's largest warship, the Defender, Commander Lee watched the enemy approach. "All ships, prepare for battle," he ordered. "Remember what we're fighting for." The space between Mars and Earth lit up with weapons fire. Human ships fought bravely, but the Tajin ships were larger and stronger. One by one, human ships exploded or retreated with heavy damage. The Defender shook as Tajin weapons hit its shields. Shields at 40%. A crew member shouted. Lee kept his face calm, though inside he worried. If Earth's fleet fell, only the Tiger Heart squads would stand between Earth and the Tajin. Meanwhile, Deep inside the largest Tejan ship, Supreme Commander Kal watched the battle with cold pleasure. His ship was 3 times the size of any human vessel and had enough warriors to conquer several planets. "Human ships are falling back, Supreme Commander," a Tejan officer reported. "Excellent," Kal said. "Once their fleet is destroyed, we will land on their planet. By tomorrow, Earth will belong to the Tejan Empire." Behind him, heavy doors slid open. 2 Tejan warriors entered, dragging prisoners between them. "The humans from the scouting mission," the warrior said. "We found them hiding in the lower decks." Kal turned, surprised to see Captain Jum Kim and Dr. Yun Park still alive. They looked thin and weak from weeks as prisoners, but their eyes showed no fear. "I'm impressed you survived this long," Kal said. "Few prisoners last more than days on a Tejan ship." "We're harder to kill than you think," Jun replied. Kal laughed. "Watch the view screens, humans. See your fleet being destroyed. Soon your world will burn." Dr. Park stepped forward. "Your own people will turn against you, Kal. We know the truth about your cyber controls." Kal's yellow eyes narrowed. "Who told you about that?" When neither human answered, Kal raised his cyber claws. "No matter. You won't live to see Earth fall." At that moment, alarms blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed. "Supreme Commander," a Tejan officer called. "We have intruders." "Impossible," Kal hissed. No human could board this ship without being detected. But the officer's screen showed 6 black-uniformed humans moving through the ship's lower decks. Their movements were perfectly coordinated, as if they shared one mind. Tejan warriors tried to stop them, but the humans moved as one, covering each other, never breaking formation. Jun recognized the tiger heart symbol on their uniforms. Jinho's squad had somehow boarded the flagship. "Kill the intruders," Kal ordered, "and execute these prisoners." As warriors rushed to obey, Jun saw his chance. With strength born of desperation, he broke free from his guard and tackled Kal. They crashed into a control panel. Dr. Park kicked the other guard hard, knocking him back. In the confusion, Dr. Park grabbed a weapon from a fallen warrior. She didn't know how to use it, but she pointed it at the bridge doors to keep other Tejan from entering. "Jun," she called. "The communications panel." Jun understood immediately. While wrestling with Kal, he stretched his arm toward a control panel. If they could send a message to Earth about their location on the flagship. Kal's cyber claws slashed, cutting deep into Jun's arm. The pain was terrible, but Jun didn't stop. With his good hand, he hit the communications button. "Earth Fleet, this is Captain Kim. We're on Kal's flagship," he shouted. "Section Delta 9. Kal roared in anger and raised his claws for a killing blow. But before he could strike, the entire ship shook violently. Warning alarms screamed louder. "What's happening?" Kal demanded. A Tejan officer looked up from his station, his face showing fear. "Supreme Commander, there's another problem. Something is wrong with the warrior control systems. Warriors throughout the ship are removing their cyber claws." Chaos spread through the Tejan fleet like wildfire. On ship after ship, warriors suddenly stopped following orders. Some tore at their cyber claws, trying to remove them. Others turned on their commanders, their eyes clear of the control that had held them for years. On Earth, Dr. Minji Kang and Raska watched data flow across screens in the command center. Days of working together had produced a signal that disrupted the Tejan control systems. Now that signal was broadcasting from Jinho's squad, who had smuggled the device onto Kal's flagship. "It's working," Minji said, her voice filled with hope. "The control signals are breaking down." Raska watched the screens, his yellow eyes wide. "My people are waking up. For the first time in generations, they can think for themselves." Commander Lee entered the room. "The battle has changed. Half the Tejan fleet has stopped attacking. Some ships are fighting each other." But the news wasn't all good. Supreme Commander Kal has ordered loyal ships to fire on any vessel showing signs of rebellion, an officer reported. He's killing his own people. On Call's flagship, June and Dr. Park had taken cover behind fallen equipment. The bridge was in chaos. Some Tejan officers had turned against Call, while others remained loyal. Weapons fire crossed the room as former comrades fought each other. Call stood in the center of the storm, his cyber claws glowing brighter than ever. "Kill the rebels," he roared. "Kill anyone who disobeys." A group of loyal warriors formed a protective ring around him. Through the confusion, Jum saw Jin Ho's squad fighting their way onto the bridge, moving as one perfect unit. "We need to reach them," Jum told Dr. Park. "They're our only chance." Dr. Park nodded. She had been shocked to learn her brother Taiwan was still alive on Earth, that the news of her death had been wrong. Now she had one thought: to survive and see him again. Across the Tejan fleet, a full rebellion had begun. On the command screen of the human ship Defender Commander Lee watched in amazement as Tejan ships turned their weapons on each other. "Sir," an officer called, "we're receiving a transmission from inside the Tejan fleet. It's from a warrior who calls himself Raska's brother." The screen showed a Tejan face, similar to Raska, but with darker fur. "I am Ven of the science ship Bright Star *. Our vessel and 30 others have broken free from Call's control. We wish to join forces with humans against the Supreme Commander." Lee didn't hesitate. "We accept your help, Ven. Target Call's loyalist ships." The space battle transformed. Now human ships fought alongside rebel Tejan vessels against Call's loyal followers. The balance of power had shifted. Back on Call's flagship, the fighting had reached a peak. Half the bridge was in flames. Bodies of loyal and rebel Tejan lay everywhere. Call fought like a demon, his cyber claws cutting through anyone who approached. "This is impossible," he screamed. "I am Supreme Commander. I cannot be defeated by slaves and primitives." Through the smoke, Jin Ho's squad finally reached June and Dr. Park. "Captain," Jin Ho called, "we need to leave now. This ship is falling apart." But Jun shook his head. "Not yet. As long as Call lives, this isn't over." At that moment, the ship lurched violently. Explosions echoed through distant corridors. A rebel Tejan officer fought his way to them. "The engine core is unstable. The ship will explode in minutes." Jin Ho grabbed Jun's arm. "Sir, we have to go." Jun looked across the burning bridge at Call, who was cutting down the last rebels who stood against him. The Supreme Commander's eyes met Jun's, filled with hate. "This isn't finished, human," Call roared. "You're right," Jun answered. "But the next battle won't be fought with claws." As Jin Ho's squad pulled them toward the escape pods, Jun knew the war had entered its final phase. Call might escape today, but his empire was crumbling around him. For the first time since meeting the Tejan, Jun believed humanity might actually win. 1 week after the Great Battle, the remains of the Tejan fleet hung in Earth's orbit, not as conquerors, but as refugees and allies. Over half of the Tejan had joined the rebellion against Supreme Commander Call. But Call himself had escaped in a small, fast ship with his most loyal followers. Now he had returned with the last 12 ships still under his control. It would be the final battle. On the bridge of the Defender now the command ship of the combined human Tejan fleet, Captain Jun stood with Commander Lee, Dr. Park, and Ven, the leader of the rebel Tejan. "Call's ships are approaching," an officer reported. "They've activated all weapons." "He knows he can't win," Ven said, "but he would rather die than surrender." Commander Lee looked at the tactical display. "His flagship is heavily armored. Our weapons may not penetrate its shields." "Then we need to board it," Jun said. "End this face to face." Jin Ho's Tiger Heart squad prepared in the shuttle bay. With them stood Raska, now fitted with a neural amplifier that let him join their mental link. It had been his idea, to show that humans and Tejan could fight as one. As they boarded the shuttle, Dr. Minji Kang came to say goodbye to Raska. Over the past weeks, they had grown close. "Come back," she said simply. Raska touched her hand with his. His cyber claws were gone, removed by his own choice. I will, he promised. The small shuttle approached Call's flagship, using the chaos of battle as cover. When they landed in a damaged hangar, Jin-Ho's squad moved out with Raska and Jun. Through their neural link, they all moved as one perfect unit, human and Taejin together. They fought through the ship, facing Call's elite guard. These warriors still had their cyber claws and fought with desperate fury. But they fought alone, while Jin-Ho's team fought as one mind in many bodies. Finally, they reached the bridge. Supreme Commander Call waited for them, his cyber claws glowing blood red. Around him lay the bodies of his own officers, killed by Call himself in his madness. So it comes to this, Call said, looking at Jun and Raska with hate. Traitors and primitives. It's over, Call, Jun said. Your fleet is defeated. Your empire is finished. Call laughed, a harsh sound with no joy. Nothing is finished while I live. He raised his hands, showing cyber claws twice as long as normal. These claws have conquered 100 worlds. They will add Earth to that list. He moved with blinding speed, attacking the squad. His claws cut through their armor like paper. 2 squad members fell wounded before they could react. Through the neural link, Jin-Ho coordinated their response. They surrounded Call, attacking from all sides. But the Supreme Commander was incredibly fast and strong. His cyber enhancements had been pushed beyond normal limits, making him nearly unstoppable. Raska stepped forward. Your time is done. Supreme Commander, our people will be free. Slaves don't deserve freedom. Call roared, slashing at Raska. Jun jumped between them, taking the hit meant for Raska. Pain exploded across his chest as Call's claws cut deep. He fell to his knees. Call stood over him, raising his claws for a final strike. You see, human, your flesh is weak. Our technology is superior. This is why we rule and you serve. Despite his pain, Jun smiled. You still don't understand. What don't I understand? Call demanded. Your tigers had cyber claws, Jun said quietly. Ours had a reason. In that moment, Jin-Ho's entire squad, including the wounded, attacked as one. Through their neural link, they shared Jun's pain, his courage, his determination. It made them stronger, not weaker. Together, they overwhelmed Call's defenses and brought down the tyrant who had enslaved his own people. 3 days later, on the Defender's observation deck, Jun stood with Dr. Park, watching Earth below them. His wounds were healing. What happens now? Dr. Park asked. We rebuild, Jun said, both humans and Taejin, together. Outside the window, Raska and Minji worked with other scientists, examining the neural amplifier technology. It would no longer be used just for war, but to help heal the minds of Taejin who had been controlled for too long. Humans had kept their world. More importantly, they had found new friends among the stars. Not because they have the strongest weapons or the most advanced technology, but because when everything seemed hopeless, they had found something worth fighting for, each other.